From the beginning. I'm with Richard and Ursula Hollis. We're at the end of the 2011 half-ton Classic Cup supported by South Boats. We've had a fantastic regatta. You two are really very much the people behind the regatta. First of all, tell us a little bit about how we come to be here in Cowes.
Well, we were in Newport 2 years ago. That was our first foray into half-ton Classic Cups. And we heard that the powers to be, Bert and Philippe, and were looking for a venue possibly in England in 2 years' time, in 2011. I then bowed out of the scene because I had to go to hospital, but Ursula took over and managed to persuade them that they should at least look at Cowes.
I think it was a bit more of a lot. I was left behind in the bar in Belgium with my husband in the hospital, and I had a lot of quite inebriated Belgian sailors, and I managed to persuade them all that Cowes was quite a good party place to come, apart from being very good for sailing.
That's right.
Oh, fabulous. Well, so that's how we came to be in Cowes.
Well, that's
their main opposition, was that they were worried about the cost of Cowes. It has a reputation of being terribly expensive. So I had spent a lot of time trying to convince them that we could do an inexpensive regatta or reasonably priced regatta, and Richard spent a lot of time in the run-up to 2-year run-up to the regatta persuading Shepherd's Wharf and Red Funnel and the Harbour Commission people to support the event, and that's been really fantastic to get the Cowes, because the Cowes brand is so important, and if we can get out of the image of it being terribly expensive, we could probably attract a lot more events here as we used to. Big events, not just small 2-day regattas, but nice big 5-day.
It's very encouraging that as things started to progress, that people understood that this was not a particularly wealthy regatta. Financially, in the sense that everyone was giving, and the Harbour Commission, or rather Shepherd's and Kingston, I pushed them for a pretty hard deal there, because we did not want to. We had to break this myth that Cowes is terribly expensive. We did the same thing with accommodation as much as we could. We did, as Ursula said, the same thing with Red Funnel, and that is before we started with the day sponsors. A number of the day sponsors are local. There's Spinlock, for one,
who gave fantastic prizes. Goddard's Brewery.
Goddard's Brewery was another one. They've been very kind. Pascalaki were extremely kind, and Beacon was extremely generous in helping us with the prizes. Those two magnificent prints, and so really, then the buzz gets going, and people realise that actually this is something that they want to be part of, and they are part of. Now, when it comes to South Boats, by February this year, we still did not have a sponsor. We thought we were going to have a sponsor as the person who sponsored in previous years. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it this time round, and so I was looking for a sponsor, and I met the managing director, Jeremy Paul, of South Boats, at a party, and Clive Jeffrey, the chairman, and they said, well, come and talk to them, because they might well be interested.
Yeah. And I think that's worked out as a very interesting partnership for us. Certainly, I'm in Cowes a lot, and I'd not actually heard of South Boats before. In fact, I'd seen many of their products without realising who they were, and I think it's been very interesting for us to be partnered with a local company and give us a chance to realise a lot more about what's going on in the town while we're all out on the water sailing.
That's absolutely right, because South Boats are a most remarkable, successful operation, and you know, as we discover when you go around their factory, their operation, the yards, I mean, it's just incredible what they are achieving.
Yes, we spoke to Clive last night, and he was telling us about his offshore wind generation support boats. But I also discovered that they're actually supplying a lot of the committee boats that are being used for
in the
2012 in the Olympics.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Anyway, and they very kindly said that they would help us with the regatta. For example, example, the shirts that we wear, which were produced by Ocean World. Paul Bertie, very kindly, he also helped and produced the bags, gave us the bags for the competitors. That was extremely kind of him, all embroidered. And so really it's almost like the town rallying round.
Well, it seems like the fleet's really responded to that spirit, because we've had a record entry, 38 boats, as far afield as Spain and Finland and across Europe. What was your expectation when we were planning the event? How many boats did you hope to have?
Well, I thought in reality, we thought we would be lucky if we got 30. If we had 30 boats, that would be fine. If we had 33 or 4, that would be exceptional. But to have 38 from all over the sort of Northern Europe, it was absolutely terrific. And it was so nice to see, Finns and boats from Ireland and
I think having
France, Belgium.
been to the regatta in Newport, I particularly, because poor Richard was taken off to hospital, but I understood that this is a class which is very special in its spirit, and it's not all about the racing. The Royal Corinthian is known for organising extremely good regattas, but it's the party atmosphere as well. I put on a pirate party on Wednesday, which I thought perhaps people wouldn't bother to dress up. They all arrived with stuff they'd made, costumes they'd made. They thoroughly let their hair down, and yet they still get on the water and race really competitively every day. And that's, there's no real professionals in the class at all, which is a joy. Yeah.
From a spectator's point of view, it's been fabulous to watch the racing.
Very close racing.
Of a certain age, remember half-ton sailing in its heyday, and certainly watching the boats this week, it's been a wonderful trip down memory lane. But such cutthroat racing, it's been fabulous to watch. What's it been like being in the thick of it as competitors?
Well, let's put it this way: we didn't do it as quite as well as we might have done. We had my son Henry on the first day, who got us a couple of reasonable results. We're a production boat, so there is a division within the regatta for production boats which are unaltered. In other words, they're as they were pretty much in the 1980s or 90s, and we had a very disappointing round the island race. We did extremely well until St Catherine's, and we were up with the big boys, as we call them, and then the wind went very, very light. We made a few tactical errors, and it seemed everybody was going past us, so that was very disappointing.
It's so close that it only takes a slight slip and you lose a lot of places, don't you?
Yes, exactly.
I think
and it wasn't the standard around the island, which we really looked forward to, because we've got a new spinnaker, and I was so looking forward to southwesterly around the island, like the normal around the island race, where you put your spinnaker up at the Needles and take it down at Bembridge with one jibe. But unfortunately that wasn't to be, and it was very light and very frustrating, and I was disappointed because I had told them all how fabulous the round the island can be, but they seemed to enjoy it. They all thought that the scenery was interesting, and they liked seeing around the island.
We did try to watch you. Unfortunately the fog and the mist meant at times you were very hard to find, but it certainly sounded as if the competitors had a wonderful race, especially for those who'd never actually raced around the island before. It was great. Well, we're looking forward to going to France in 2 years' time, venue to be decided, but what's next for Crackerjacks and for your team?
I think a few days rest, actually.
A well-earned rest.
A well-earned rest, although we've got various events on in September. We
race from March till November. I always jokingly say it's because we need the practice. But so we'll have a winter series too that's coming up, and we'll finish racing the season. There's a tiny Mitchell Trophy, there's a few other regattas, one or two, but. And we'll continue to try and make it go a little bit faster.
So if there's any other half-ton owners out there looking for some competition, they should come down and join with you guys sailing from here in Cowes.
Oh yes.
Fabulous. Well, it's been a great regatta, guys. Congratulations, a huge success. Your hard work has all been worth it, and thank you once again.
Thank you very much.